in Orland.
All right, I got a couple quarterback questions for you, and then a college question. I want the two of you to help a coach out. But I'll start with the quarterback questions because Russell Wilson was officially named the starter, QB1, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. His quote yesterday, "I know I'm ready. We're ready. We're looking forward to playing. The goal is to help the Pittsburgh Steelers win a 7th trophy. I came here to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, help us win another Super Bowl. I believe in this football team." I think that's totally out of the question. I don't think the Steelers are even going to be a playoff team. Russell Wilson chose to mention 7 trophies, so I'm going to set the number at 6.5. Over or under 6.5 starts for Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh this season?
It's a good number to put it at.
6.5?
It's a good number.
Over. That's a layup.
It's not a layup.
It is.
I hate Russell Wilson, so there's the difference. I'm biased against him. Do not like him. I did not think it would work out in Denver, and it didn't. 6.5 between injury and poor performance. I'll take the over, but slightly. 17-game season. I think he makes it at least 7, but not much more than that. I'm just not a fan. Problem is the backup's not very good either.
No, the backup's not good.
But I'll take the over slightly. Cap has the under.
You know how many cult members came up to me and Hoodie at the football fest at Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana on Sunday?
Changing their mind, right?
A bunch of them. Like, can I take a picture with you? I was really mad when you were all in for Caleb, and now I'm all in for Caleb, and I apologize.
Good. That's how it should be. Because I even wavered for a moment. I had quite the journey with Justin Fields. At first, I didn't like that they drafted him. Then in 3 preseason games in, I'm like, this guy's going to the Hall of Fame. And then it was bad, and there's good and bad. And at some point, I did say last year, I wouldn't mind if they trade the pick and build around him. But I was never like a cult member.
Build around it.
Well,
Cultist.
My feeling was a monster team around any decent quarterback.
No, he's not good enough.
Okay, fine.
You're sitting there with a cultist, Cappy. Put his feet to the fire.
No. You sound like a cultist.
You're sitting there with a cultist.
No, I was all out on him most of last season and said,
and so
Shay'll back me up. I said like in October or November, move on, let's go.
I actually was mostly, and then towards the end, I'm like, I don't know, you could get such a haul. Anyway, but I was never like, oh my God, they're getting rid of Fields and drafting Caleb. No. I was never like that.
Yeah, my guy
people were.
My guy Pat, the designer. Now he's all like, no, we gotta.
Yeah, I
love you, Pat, but I'm gonna hold his feet to the fire for years.
I never thought it was the wrong move. You can like Justin Fields, but drafting Caleb, how could you call that the wrong move?
Jesse.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad you brought up Pat the designer, Cap. There was a day you and Hoodie were off. Pat and Jesse were in here, and the 3 of us got into a screaming match because I was saying you cannot keep Justin Fields.
Yeah. And you're right. Yeah, Pat the designer, and again, I'm a big fan of his. He put out a little video when I coined the term chasing greatness. That's ridiculous. Blah, blah, blah. Pat, Justin Fields is a Yugo going up against a Mercedes 550. I mean, what are we doing here?
Totally. And look, and that's why I'm glad people came up to you. Because if you're still saying it's a bad pick and a bad trade and all this stuff, then you're dumb. We learned everything we need to know about Justin Fields when polls could not get anything for him. When the whole league is telling us, then that trumps anybody's opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there you go.
But we got to get the haul. Stop. Whatever. Shay.
All right, another quarterback question. The New England Patriots have made it official this morning. Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback for the Patriots when the season starts.
Smart. Let Drake May learn and develop.
I actually agree with you, not because he's going to learn a lot or develop a lot sitting behind Jacoby Brissett, but because the schedule for them is brutal.
He learns watching a professional quarterback who may not be good enough.
You really
learn.
No, I don't buy it. Brissett stinks.
I'm with
Doesn't
Cap. It's
matter.
You learn the game. You just watching. You learn.
Can I argue the point that I'm trying to make?
Are you telling me he'd be starting if not for a tough schedule? Come on, Shay, you're better than that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I actually think so. He totally outplayed Brissett in the preseason.
It doesn't
Mayo
matter.
even
You got to learn.
He's the better of the 2 players. Mayo said he's ready to go. He said he outplayed him in the preseason. Here's my side of it. That schedule's horrible to start the season. They do not have an offensive line that they believe can keep Drake May healthy. You put a rookie out there to start potentially 0-6 and just get battered and sacked. That is how you ruin a player. I don't think this is a big, let him develop and learn behind Jacoby because he's a professional. I think it's let Jacoby wear the hits, let Jacoby wear the losses, and then we'll figure out when we're ready to put Maye in the game.
But here's my one disagreement with you, Shay. You can learn from someone who's not that good a player because they've been around and they know the ins and outs of the league. Josh McCown's not a Hall of Fame quarterback, but a lot of people said brilliant in the room, teaching, brilliant.
And you don't throw a rookie quarterback into the fire
player
when you're a bad team like that. The
That's
Bears.
what I'm saying. That's the part I agree with. They would be throwing Drake Maye into one of the worst possible situations where he'd just be getting lit up by pass rushers.
It doesn't matter what the schedule says, though. He'd be getting lit up no matter what. That team is awful.
I agree with you.
So, okay, maybe we're saying the same thing, but it's different with Caleb Williams and the foundation they have here. Most quarterbacks should sit because they're being drafted by horrendous teams.
But that's also not necessarily, it's never really been true. Like even going back to Terry Bradshaw, when he got drafted as a rookie, he started right away.
All I know, it's worked in Green Bay for about 2 decades.
Right, but that's the only situation where that's true. And it's also the only situation where they're drafting consistently at the bottom of the first round with Hall of Fame quarterbacks in front of the guy that they draft.
Yeah,
so
it's worked.
I'm making the point, almost never do you see a team rest their first round pick quarterback behind a guy who's kind of a nobody.
Not anymore, you don't.
Not even then. Terry Bradshaw started week 1 for the Steelers. That was 1977.
Yeah, but I'm sure
Peyton Manning started for the Colts. That was 1999.
But I would assume more top picks start now than they did back then. You're giving me a few exceptions. But I'm guessing that they used to sit a little bit longer.
First round quarterbacks usually start.
I don't know. Maybe top picks.
So Drake Maye was the third pick in the draft.
Okay, but when you're on such a bad team, that's the key.
I agree. But that's the point. I don't buy that it's let him sit and learn from Jacoby Brissett. Brissett blows.
True.
Shay, again, you can learn from someone who may not be the best player. Bill Belichick is a brilliant coach. He wasn't a great NFL player. Can't learn from him. He was not a good player. Jacoby Brissett may be brilliant in the room. Who did John Gruden say? By far the smartest quarterback I've ever
said that? I didn't see that.
Was with Jameis Winston. He's not a great player.
Right, but regardless of how bad Brissett is, he's learning from watching the game, not just the quarterback. How about the opposing quarterback? Right. Can learn from that as well.
Slowing everything down and standing there and go, wow, I didn't really think of it that way.
I mean, I think any GM or coach in a perfect world would love to have a year with his quarterback watching.
The greatest example of all is Cap Rooney. Cap Rooney was the greatest mentor to Steeman Willie Beeman in the Any Given Sunday. You remember what he said? I learned more from watching Cap for a half than I learned from anybody else my career.
That's the final word on that, Shay.
Since it happened in a fictional screenplay. Must be true. All right, the final topic and around the NFL actually goes to a college head coach. Dabo Sweeney this week announced he will no longer take live phone calls on his radio show. Last year, you might remember Tyler from Spartanburg called in and got Dabo incensed because he asked the question on the phone, why are we paying you $11.5 million to go 4-4? Dabo went on an all-time rant, and now he's saying no live phone calls. The two of you remember Coach Ditka, who might have some advice for Dabo Sweeney.
Fired almost as many verbal attacks as his team has wins. He's publicly ripped his quarterback, a newspaper reporter, and now a fan who had some choice words for Iron Mike during a radio talk show.
Why did it appear that Mike was holding back, trying not to cry like the baby that he is?
Well, Neil, I tell you, what you are, I can't say on the air. But I tell you what, I'm 53 years old, and my office is at 250 North Washington. Anytime you want to meet me there, you call me back on the air. You tell me what time and when, and I will whip your ass. You got that, big boy? It's easy to hide behind a microphone, son. Let's get your face out in public, and let's live where people have to see you every day, and we'll see who the gutless wonder is.
The good old days.
That was on the old 820.
Amazing.
That's how Dabo could handle a caller.
I think maybe it was GS, one of them.
No, it was on our station. The Score. I
It was then the old one, 820.
Yeah, the old one. It was amazing.
And
it was unbelievable.
That is courtesy of ESPN who put that out.
Can you believe that for people that have never heard that? What he just challenged a caller. You don't see that. Now, here's the difference between Dabo and Ditka. Ditka continued to take phone calls. He didn't give a damn.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's running and hiding. So stupid. You're only drawing attention to yourself when you do something like that.
Unbelievable. Absolutely
Amazing. God, I wish we had Ditka in his prime now.
My
social
God.
media, all that stuff be amazing.
It would be amazing. All right.
Could Dabo threaten physical violence to a caller in 2024 and get away with it?
Not sure.
I don't think you'd get fired. Now, if you did get into a scrape with him, that would be a problem.
If you said meet me at my office, no, I don't think he gets fired.
You want to come down to my office and try and take me on, big boy? Yep. There you go.
I don't think you get in trouble for that.
We also have some news from Field Yates. While we're still on Inside the NFL, Field Yates reporting with his dislocated shoulder. Field.
He was on the show yesterday.
Yeah, Field's great. The Browns have restructured the contract to quarterback Deshaun Watson and have converted $44.79 million of his base salary into a signing bonus, which creates $35.8 million in new cap space. Wow. They must have some plans. Cleveland now has $62 million in cap space, most in the entire NFL.
Well, that is interesting.
There you go.
Are they going to be good? I mean, are they going to be great?
Their roster
are they
is
gonna be
loaded, but it depends on the quarterback.
Yeah, doesn't it? That defense was great last year for much of it. They could be really, really good if that quarterback performs.
There you go. We will play Deal Breakers on a Deal Breakers Thursday. Tom Thayer at 9.